Trump has tapped Kash Patel to lead the FBI, and he calls him an advocate for truth. Some background information on Kash Patel. He served as the senior director for counterterrorism at the National Security Council. And he served as the chief of staff for acting Secretary of Defense Christopher Miller from 2020, 2021. He also was deeply involved in writing what they call the Devin Nunes memo, which is a few pages that came out that really started to legitimize the skepticism on how the FBI was handling their probe into the Trump campaign back in 2016, and really brought a lot of that stuff to light. And it's something that I think that's one of the things that scares people that are in the establishment or in the deep state so much about him being in charge of an entity like the FBI.
Here's another reason why people are scared. Listen to what he says he'll do on day one if he becomes FBI director.
The biggest problem the FBI has come out of its intel shops. I'd break that component out of it. I'd shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one and reopening the next day as a museum of the deep state. And I'd take the 7,000 employees that work in that building and send them across America to chase down criminals. Go be cops. You're cops. Go be cops. Go chase down murderers and rapists and drug dealers and violent offenders. What do you need 7,000 people there for? Same thing with DOJ. What are all these people doing here? Looking for their next government promotion, looking for their next fancy government title, looking for their parachute out of government. So while you're bringing in the right people, you also have to shrink government.
That's Kash Patel on the Sean Ryan Show. That is, in my opinion, very refreshing to hear. That is very dangerous for others to hear, and they have responded like that, calling him, in fact, unqualified and dangerous. But to me, he also represents consistency. If you see the people that Donald Trump has appointed to his cabinet, the common thread, from Pete Hegseth to RFK, from Tulsi Gabbard to Brendan Carr at the FCC, to Kash Patel, to Dr. Jay Bhattacharya at the NIH, is that they all represent what would have been black sheep over the last 4 years, people marginalized and called conspiracy theorists. But today what they represent is true disruptors.
That's right. In fact, Andrew McCabe, who is one of the biggest critics, he was just on CNN complaining. By the way, if Andrew McCabe is unhappy with this appointment, Americans should feel pretty good about it. Here's what he said. He said, this is a plan, the plan to put Kash Patel in charge of the FBI is a plan to disrupt, dismantle, and distract the FBI. That's right. Disrupt and dismantle the weaponization of federal law enforcement. Disrupt and dismantle the surveillance of Americans just because they have an opinion that the administration in power didn't like. Disrupt and dismantle all these, the intimidation of pro-lifers and, the arrests that they've made. Everything that happened during January 6th. One of the first things I hope, Kash Patel has talked a lot about sort of transparency and declassifying what happened under 9/11 and JFK. How about we just start with January 6th? I want to know, who are those pipe bombers? What happened to the tapes, the surveillance tapes that somehow aren't working from in front of those buildings where the pipe bombs were supposedly found? The people that were walking in front that now we can't seem to find. We can find everybody on January 6th, but we can't find the person who walked in front of these or placed these pipe bombs. So there's a lot of questions, and I think that's the fear that they're striking here, that Kash Patel strikes, because he has been the subject of so much of the corruption of the FBI, that his ability to go in and disrupt it has a lot to do with his own personal history. He's not going to buy all the stuff that they're selling over there, that they're doing everything on the up and up.
Because the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away.